This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Well, Joe, let's start with Christmas last night. You and your broadcast partner, Kevin Fitzgerald, both had It's a Wonderful Life at number one. That's my favorite Christmas movie. Is that something you watch each and every year with your family?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when my kids were like in high school, and I said this last night on the air, it would come on Christmas Eve or whatever, and you're a deranged parent yourself yelling the words, "We're going to get in here, we're going to sit down on this couch, and we're going to watch A Wonderful Life," and you're going
whether you like it or not, you're going to do it.
You hear yourself saying that, and you're kind of like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, that's kind of like back in the day. Yeah, back in the day when Dad threatened to come back there in the back seat if y'all didn't straighten up. One of them deals.
Yeah. Yep, you hear the words of your parents coming out of your mouth, and it scares you.
Well, man, what'd you think last night? You got to see him up close and personal. What were your thoughts on the Hogs' first half struggles and second half runs?
Well, boy, I mean, it was a tale of two halves. I mean, I don't could play much worse than they did the first half. You keep hearing every coach. I mean, Chuck knows this. Everybody's saying we're searching, we're looking, we're trying to find it. But man, you were sitting there watching it, and you were watching it too down here. Is that they are really struggling to get an identity, get a rhythm, and they just couldn't get anything going on offense. They couldn't get anything going defensively. They were like stuck in the mud. And I thought the lineup change was a good adjustment. Helped them, the 4-guard lineup with Minifield in there. Got the pace on, got the defense a little more active. They were able to get out in the open floor, and I just think that really got them going, got the juices flowing, and then Battle comes in and does what he does. They looked like a total different team. They looked a little bit what we've all been waiting for, and we've seen flashes of it versus Duke and Purdue, and it was very good to see. I mean, it was. I was worried. I'm not lying. I mean, that game before Christmas. I mean, Chuck knows. You see some crazy things happen before Christmas break in college basketball.
Joe, I really thought last night, as the second half unfolded, and Minifield very rightly is getting a lot of praise for what happened, but Tramon Mark, 25 and 11, this is a smooth player, and he can play well on both ends. And if this guy can continue to play like that, I mean, he's somebody that, a month from now you may look at and say he's their best player.
No, I agree. He's been impressive. I mean, I think the injury in the Bahamas set him back a little bit, but you could see last night he got back to form, and even down here in Little Rock, I thought he had some really good stretches. But I mean, I think last night, 35 minutes, and I mean, he did everything. He assisted. He didn't turn the ball over. I mean, he was rebounding, 11 rebounds, and then his offensively, he's very, like, I think smooth's a great word. He takes what's there. If you get in the shot, he takes it. He takes the pull up. He'll take it left all the way. He can finish right all the way. Just really, really good player. And then coming from Houston, I mean, playing under Calvin Sampson, he's broken in. Calvin must look like the Mother Teresa. I mean, Calvin will get up in you, and so I think it's been a nice, refreshing, and the pace. I think Houston is a little more of a grinded team. I think getting him out in the open floor is that's got good length, good size, and again, with his abilities, I think that's really helped his game kind of flourish a little more at Arkansas.
Hey, let me ask you about Lawson, too. 9 points, 10 rebounds, 6 blocks. That's a winning line right there. And you know as well as anybody, I mean, you gotta have a guy in there that does the dirty work. Seems like he might be that guy. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, he you like watching the game, and then you notice him, and then like this morning I got up and I looked down and I was like, man, he had 10 rebounds. And then it was like, holy smokes, he had 6 blocks, you know? I mean, I thought he played good, but I didn't think it was, you know, that well. But I agree with you. I think he really can cover up some mistakes defensively with his ability to block shots, and then, you know, they got to have his rebound. And I mean, that's something that you know, from us talking about from day one how this team has really got to, you know, rebound. I think when he starts talking about every player on the team, I was listening to his press conference the other day, you know, when they were asking how this guy could get better, how this guy could better. Rebounding was always inserted in there. So I think him being able to, and then offensively, he's got nice touch and good hands and can finish. I mean, I think he's a really nice piece.
Yeah. The great Joe Kleine with us here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Joe, 62 points off the bench last night. We were talking starter versus bench player. You know, really, what are you? I mean, as a player, when you get the number of minutes some of these guys are getting off the bench, and you look at Battle, who's been a guy coming in quickly off the bench but scoring a lot of points and getting a lot of minutes. What's the players? Tell us how the players view that. You know, are you not starting but still getting minutes? How do they deal with that internally?
I think players want to play. I think the whole starting thing. I think you like to start because you get your little moment. You know, get your name said, and everybody claps for you. But I think at the end of the day, you want to be on the floor and you want to play, and especially at the end of the game when it's coming down to, you know, winning and losing. I think guys just want to play. I think starting is a little bit guys like that, but I think that in the overall picture of things, it's not as relevant as people think it is. I mean, guys they want to play, and they want to play a lot, and starting or not starting is, again, I think overrated.
Joe, I want to ask you about Trevon Brazil, who had that ankle injury a couple weeks ago, and I know he didn't look like himself at certain points. What have you thought about his play coming off that injury, and do you think he's maybe still dealing with that during games?
I think so. I mean, if you him, he would say no, but I mean, I think, you know, an ACL, and then you probably got a little scare when you felt your ankle tweak. Like, you know, I just think something that's mentally he's got to get over with in time. I think he shows flashes. He's just got to get to where, you know, he puts together a good run of minutes. I mean, you'll get 4 or 5 here and 4 or 5 there, and you're saying, all right, here we go, man. He's back, but then he'll disappear for a while. I think he's got to become more aggressive, and again, I think that confidence in his leg offensively. I'd like to see him do a little more what I saw Lawson, Graham, and them do, especially in the high pick and roll. When he'll roll into the middle. I think with his length, he can finish some things around the basket. I'd like to see him try to get some easy baskets, get to the free throw line, to where I think that would get his confidence going and get him a little more aggressive offensively. He tends to sometimes float a little bit, in my opinion, out on the perimeter, where I think he's a very good player. But again, with his size and his length, he can get lost floating out there on the perimeter. I'd like to see him kind of do what Lawson and these other guys are doing when they, you know, roll into the middle of the lane on the actions that Muss puts in there, and getting himself in position to where even if he doesn't get the ball, he's an excellent rebounder, has great length and good bounce. If he's down there around that rim and the ball's coming off, he's going to have a great chance of getting it. And I just think he needs to do a little bit more. Well, I mean, again, he would never say it, but I still think he's a little hesitant.
Joe, I know you probably watched some other SEC basketball teams as well. Arkansas's got one more conference game next Saturday, and then they'll open against SEC, play against Auburn. To me, Kentucky looks like the team to beat in the league right now. What have you thought about not just maybe who could win the conference, but the overall shape of this league this season?
Man, I'm telling you, this bad boy is stacked now. I mean, I went down to do a Florida. I had a Florida game, and in the preseason, they weren't even them. And Ole Miss were not even mentioned, I believe, in the top 8. And let me tell you something, Florida's good. I mean, we got a nice looking squad. We're seeing what Ole Miss is doing. They're going to be a handful. I mean, South Carolina, who has been a doormat, they're 10-1, and so I mean, you got the usual suspects. You got Muss and Pearl and Rick Barnes and Chris Jans and these great coaches, Calipari. I mean, it is a stacked league. I think that Auburn Arkansas game in Bud Walton is going to be a war, as it always is. And then, man, Ole Miss first game out of the chute goes to Tennessee. They're going to be undefeated, rolling into Tennessee, and that's going to be a good one too. So I think we're going to have a dogfight. I think Calipari and Kentucky are talented, but again, I think there's some veteran, gritty, tough teams that are going to give them all they want.
Yeah, you bring up Ole Miss there, and their 10-0 record, which will probably be, like you said, 11-0 or 12-0, whatever, by the start of conference play. How good is Chris Beard's bunch? I mean, you probably watched him in more with a different eye, obviously, and probably more detail than we have. Are they as good as their record indicates?
I mean, they're good. I mean, I watched them versus Memphis, which is a very good team, and they're Chris Beard. They're gritty. They're going to grind you, kind of Rick Barnes type, Coach Muss type. We're going to guard you, defend you, make everything as difficult as we can. We're going to rebound the ball, and then we're going to try to get good shots. We'll push it if it's there, and but they keeping Morrell and Brakefield, and then adding Al Flanagan was huge. I mean, you have 3 really, really good seasoned SEC players, and they put some nice pieces in there around them. They have some good size, and Chris Beard's a heck of a coach, and they're just a tough team, and they're gonna fight you for everything, and they're good. I mean, I think they're legit.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts.